Adam, Mike, good morning. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully what I'd like to do now is talk to you a little bit about your business, understand a little bit about Qlic, how Sophos fits into that business, and then also any questions that you might have for me. Happy to give you some Sophos updates there. Let me just start that off by introducing myself. My name is Kyle Torres. I'm the Senior Channel Account Executive for our MSP program based in EMEA. I've been with Sophos for a little over 8 years, and I do anything and everything managed services or managed security services related with our channel partners. And Adam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, I'm Adam Graham. I'm the MD for Qlic IT. We're an MSP supporting not-for-profits, education, and SMBs across the UK nationally. And this is my colleague, Mike.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm Mike Holton. I'm Head of Business Development with Qlic. I've been with the business now coming up to 14 years, and I oversee our account management, customer success, and marketing side of things as well for us.
That's great. Thank you, guys. So why we're here today is just so I'd like to learn a little bit more about your business, the sort of journey that you've been on. I know you've been a Sophos partner for a long time. I've worked with you for quite a few years myself. To hear a little bit about the journey, what your focuses are, what your plans are, but then also to open it up if you've got any questions for Sophos, any updates from myself. So does that sound good?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
great. Just to start it off then, if you could tell me a little bit about the history of Qlic.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, we've been going for over 20 years now. Started off as a traditional MSP, working in the SMB sector with small and medium businesses across the UK. And then over the time, that has changed more and more. We're now more of an SSP, working in cybersecurity, cloud solutions, obviously, doing a lot towards AI. And our real focus nowadays is on the not-for-profit sector and the education sectors. So we've really transitioned over the last 20 years across the business, and things like cybersecurity, working with Sophos has really helped us align with the needs of our customers.
And what made Sophos stand out? You've been in the business for a while, you weren't always doing managed security. When you decided that managed security services is that path you wanted to take, what made Sophos stand out as a vendor for you? Did you evaluate, several?
Yeah, I think, going back many, many years now, we looked at many different partners, and we do reevaluate on a regular basis. But Sophos really stood out to us because it gave us, it was one of the security providers that just did security. That was your focus. Many other providers and suppliers out there, like Microsoft and Google, have a whole stack of different solutions. And Sophos really was a cybersecurity solution. We found it had the best in terms of response rates and resolution rates out there available in the cybersecurity sector, the best product offering across everyone. And it was really good value for money. So it ticked all the boxes for us when we did these reviews. And I say, every 3 years, we still review Sophos and what you do to make sure you are the #1 provider for us still.
I think that's a really important thing that you mentioned there, reviewing the vendors. Something we look at. We've seen a lot of security in the supply chain as a topic. So just that fact that you mentioned there, reviewing the vendors is something I definitely agree with there. I'd say when you're selling Sophos, when you're using the Sophos products and services, how does that fit into your portfolio? Is it more of a product perspective, or would you say it integrates quite well from a services standpoint?
Yeah, it's completely integrated into everything we do. So any client we take on has a Sophos product involved in the onboarding. So that will be from a Sophos sort of endpoint antivirus, Sophos Central perspective, and then obviously going on to more complex solutions like MDR, email protection, firewalls, or any solution that you offer. So we always start with a Sophos offering, and then we build on that with the client depending on their needs. So it's completely integrated into our stack and part of our solution for our clients.
I think as well, we often find that you don't know necessarily where the entry point's going to be until you find the pain the customer's having. But inevitably, there is a Sophos product that we can recommend that's going to help tighten that up. And I think coming back to the original previous question as well around the partnership that we've had over the years, Sophos have helped us develop our business and our offering far more than the other way around, in terms of we're often given a product that has a solution out there that we've not come across yet. We're not going out looking for options to say, well, we've got a problem, we need to find a solution. The conversations that we have with yourself and colleagues has always been, look, this is what's coming up. This is how the threat landscape is changing. Here's a product that we're doing to service that. Great example of that many years ago now was the Intercept X product, where ransomware was on everyone's lips and on the news everywhere. And by the time we'd had a conversation with customers about it, Sophos already had a product out there ready to launch that we could start talking to people about. So yeah, it's been great for us over the years.
All right, I've chewed your ears off enough there. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So for those people who don't know Sophos as deeply, can you give us a bit more about the company, its history, its mission, and its key strengths?
Yeah, so Sophos has been going since about 1985, so we're on about 40 years of Sophos here. We were founded in Abingdon, in Oxfordshire, and here we are in the Abingdon office. But yeah, I mean, we're built on this cybersecurity expertise. Like you mentioned earlier, we are a cybersecurity company. We have a prevention-first approach. Everything we do is built on prevention first. We started off as an encryption company, which then evolved into antivirus, going from antivirus up into cloud-based management, and that's when we had Sophos Central come out. And then, yeah, just really expanding the security, being able to stay at the front of those types of threats. Like you mentioned, Mike, I was here when WannaCry happened. So I was here when there's a big ransomware event in the UK. So it's been great to work for a company like Sophos, where we develop those advanced threat protections, a next-gen cybersecurity vendor. We are 100% channel as well. So talking to you, one of our channel partners, everything we do goes through the channel. So it's a great way to do business. We're able to really focus and support our partners so that you can then go and deliver those services to your end users.
Yeah, you mentioned the channel space here, and that's something that's really interesting to me. So really, what sets Sophos apart in the channel space?
So it's not only the fact that we say, oh, we're channel first, we're 100% channel, but it's the things that we do as a vendor as well to support those partners. So from a transactional basis, everything goes through a partner. So all of our partners have that security that we won't transact directly through an end user. But what I really like working, and this goes a lot for the MSP team, working with service providers, is because you guys you're so hands-on with your customers, working with partners like you. I get that chance to do, I've been to your office a couple of times, we've done events together, and I actually get to do things like enable your teams. I get to work with your marketing teams, I get to work with your sales teams. We get to talk about strategies and campaigns. And we support all of our partners at the partner level with that, so they can then take that out to their customers. And we do customer-facing events, we're absolutely on hand, but I think the support that we give our partners as a channel-only vendor helps us stand out from being just a security company.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. And as you say, over the years, you have helped us out many times in terms of talking to our clients, putting on webinars, putting on events, coming and training our sales team on the latest products, NDR, etc. So that's been really good. I mean, obviously, the cybersecurity landscape's changed a lot over the last few years, and it's evolving very, very quickly. How is Sophos staying ahead of that curve?
So something we're looking at is we're always evolving our security operations roadmap. One of the biggest pieces of news for Sophos from the past several months, the past year, has been our SecureWorks acquisition. So we're looking at a lot of ways to bolster what we can do in regards to XDR, having a dedicated SIEM tool, but also trying to get a bit more proactive. So those more proactive services like penetration testing, vulnerability management, how can we offer that full scope? Detection and response, managed detection and response is great if something happens, but how can we be a part of that full scope of services from start to finish? Vulnerability assessment, into your risk assessment, into deploying a solution, into being able to help if something goes wrong.
Yeah, that's something we've really seen, and staying ahead of that curve has been really important to us. When we've looked for a new solution or there's been a new cybersecurity threat out there, coming to Sophos and saying, how can we deal with this? You guys have always had the answer, and you mentioned penetration testing as being one of the next things you're offering, and we're looking forward to working with you on that as well.
Yeah, it'd be really, really cool, really interesting.
So yeah, thanks for the time, and yeah, I look forward to the next one.